There we go. We're all set. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is that you are finding yourselves right now. So happy to have you all here. I'm ready here with my incense sticks, which I absolutely love, 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 love it. Just to have all these herbs coming in here from Bali. And so excited to be connecting with all of you here today. So let me know, how are you all doing? How are you feeling? Where are you checking in from as well? I'd love to hear from you guys. Today, I was still thinking, should I talk about it or should I pick another topic? But I thought, no, let's do this. I want to talk today about the power of less. Exactly what I just said, the power of less. Now, I first had to think, because this morning I was thinking, wow, I have so much to do. I have so many things that I need to get done. There's so much that, is still not fixed, or I have to do this. I have to get back to that person. I'm only one person. And I have just this whole schedule of everything that needs to just get done. Because if it doesn't, who's going to do it? Because there's a lot of things that's solely my responsibility that only I can do and that I have to do. So some things, there's just a type of responsibilities that you just cannot get away with. And I've come to learn, like, as most of you know, right? I talk a lot about being like an emotional essentialist. I love being just, feeling like I don't have a lot of responsibility. I'm an emotionally free person, free spirit. As most of you know, I've been traveling for 15 years, on and off with, just a little carry-on suitcase and just living the life, just not really wanting to be tied into a place, because even just having a place, owning a place really made me feel stuck. It just felt like this heavy weight of responsibility and burden as well. But again, at the end of the day, it's a matter of perspective. It's also about looking at maybe what is it that this triggered for me. Maybe there was something unresolved in my life that caused me to feel that I'm perceiving and filtering in everything in my life that's making me feel trapped, when in reality, most of the things that were in my life were just absolute blessings. But we can only filter in where our focus is. And if our focus is on what we don't like, if our focus is on what we resist, then that is actually what we're going to be filtering in more of. Right? Even though it doesn't feel like it, but that's what we filter in more of. And this morning I was thinking, oh my God, I just need a break. I need a break. This is too much. This is too much. I just want to breathe. I just want to relax. I just want to enjoy the view or wherever it is that I am. And I'm thinking, Evette, hang on. You keep talking and telling people about this emotional essentialism. You keep saying how, your life feels free. And I'm like, today, it just doesn't feel like that. It's not reflecting that. And I realized that, first of all, for me, it was lack of poor structure. It was absolutely pure lack of, healthy, good structure. And when I sat back and I was thinking, well, at least how can I structure my day better? Because when I listen to myself, and normally when I'm just complaining, I call it meowing, when I'm just meowing, I first of all ask myself, okay, so what is your biggest pain point right now? What is your biggest complaint right now? And my biggest complaint was that I feel overwhelmed and I don't have time. And then I just take a deep breath and I'm thinking, okay, this is where we're at. And what step can I take right now to create more time? What step can I take right now to establish more a sense of feeling in control? And the immediate answer came to me, and I'm actually brainstorming this live with you right now, because this is exactly where I'm finding myself, and I'm seeing this with other people as well. It's not just me. I'm seeing this happening in other people's lives as well. And I was thinking, okay, structure. I need better structure. And what would that structure look like? How can because now I was thinking, well, structure, that's great. Now I'm going to feel even more trapped with more things that I'm going to feel honed in by. Well, that's great. Well, no, it's actually not. When you have clear structure in terms of what it is that you want to do, and you put those things in that place of structure, then you'll see, look at the gap, look at the spaces in between all of this, and look at the abundance of time that I do. actually have, right? You're not constantly always busy doing something. There's always at least a time of a break in between an activity, a project, a task. And sometimes we fail to just see that gap because we bring everything all together into just one perspective, into just one experience, but it's not. It's multiple experiences. And if you see this smoke, I'm not smoking, actually. It's my it's my incense sticks, which I absolutely love. I love it. I love it. Hang on, let me put it maybe this side. Let me put it this side. Most of you know Bali, like that's what Bali is all about. It's all about incense sticks. I'm sitting here outside of my house, and it's just it's one of the most beautiful things that Bali is really absolutely known for, but it also creates such a nice feeling of groundedness, which is exactly what that incense stick is all about, because I needed feeling a sense of groundedness today. And when we look at just at least observing, right, it's now a matter of perspective, just observing, well, hang on, there is an infinite amount of space in between what I need to do. It's an illusion that I created for myself that I don't have time. Of course I have time. I also realized actually at the end of the day, everything that I do is a choice. Nothing is happening to me. Nothing is where I have to be forced to do something. I mean, people might say, well, I have a job and I don't feel like working today, but I have to. Well, okay, well, that's your choice. You can also choose to just say, I need a day off, or I need half of a day off, right? Sometimes our mindset can be very disempowering, and it can create the illusion that we are stuck in a place that we're actually not stuck in. But we are also biologically programmed to kind of hone in and to get stuck on the negatives, to feel stuck in the negative side of life. Because what happens is, in most cases, the reasons for that is we're looking at things that can create or cause pain points in our lives, because we are pain avoidant, we're discomfort avoidant, whether it's emotionally, psychologically, or physically. We are discomfort avoidant. But what happens is that the more we try to avoid that something, the more we actually end up energizing it. And if this is now something that continues to take place over time, remember that you have 90,000 thoughts per day, conscious and subconscious. Now, what happens is also that 75,000 of those thoughts are repeated the next day. Whew. So what happens? That thoughts that's probably going to go into that 75,000 thoughts that's going to be repeated the next day is the thoughts that you're focusing on. Because have you noticed how you can subconsciously resist something? You're not consciously aware of it, but subconsciously you are, and here's why and how. And this is what I absolutely love about Metaphysical Anatomy Technique. And guys, also, I actually have a live new moon event here in Ubud. So if you guys can come to the mansion, I would love to have you there. I would love to see you there. If you cannot, we'll be live streaming it as well, so you can join me there then. We'll be doing a lot more live events now in Ubud as well, with the borders now that's finally open. So excited. And so when we look at these aspects now that you are energizing, right? Have you noticed that sometimes when you're doing something and suddenly you just start to have a headache, or you start to have back pain, or you start to feel like your stomach is just not doing really well, or you suddenly just feel extremely fatigued? These are all great signs of something within you is subconsciously resisting either a thought that you're having. And when I say thought, some thoughts actually can be subconscious. You might not have cognitive awareness of a specific thought that you're having, but your biochemical body is reacting to that, which means that now you have an emotional reaction, but you can't quite put your finger on what that is. This is now what happens when our body and our mind and emotional body and subconscious mind is reacting to our environment. So now in my environment, I felt that I have so much going on. But really, when I sit down here with you right now and I'm looking around and I'm like, it's actually pretty peaceful. There's actually not a lot going on. My incense sticks is everywhere. There's actually not a lot going on. It's all an emotional reaction. And what's happening is that a lot of prior experiences that I've had in terms of feeling overwhelmed in my life is now being triggered as well. Maybe issues where I felt really overwhelmed that I didn't quite address properly. And these memories are just sitting there now in the subconscious mind. And of course, they're going to be triggered at some point when certain things in my environment matches that reaction, that matches that memory. And then, boom, right? You experience something, subconscious mind's like, well, let's go see if they have prior experiences so that we know how to react to it. And then, boom, Here we go. Now we're bringing past experiences into the present moment. Now we're bringing it into the present moment. When we look at this from this perspective now, and how this is playing a big role in how you're constantly showing up in your life, how it's constantly influencing new decisions that you're trying to make. Because now I'm feeling, for example, when I said I felt overwhelmed, but it's all based on past experiences where I didn't have structure, where I didn't feel I was in control, where I didn't make conscious choices in my life. And that now had a deep, deep effect on how I feel in the present moment, even though what's happening in the present moment is so unrelated to the memories that happened in the past, but I'm reacting to it. Talking about teaching, I actually have a level 1 online course coming up, and also level 2 coming up later this month. Go check it out at evetterose.com. I'm super excited. It's going to be so, so great. And then we'll start teaching live again. So when we look at these points and aspects and the stress that we're feeling, we're literally living in the past in the present moment. That's basically what's happening. So the more conscious awareness that we have, right, the more conscious awareness that we have of that, the better action we can take, the better decisions we can make. And that's why I was sitting here and I was thinking, okay, I'm feeling all this panic, I'm feeling all this anxiety, I'm feeling all this overwhelm. Let's backtrack. Now it's becoming mindfulness. Now we're stepping into that place of conscious awareness. Well, okay, let's just reassess. We're feeling panic. Okay, well, let's just start with that. All right, why do we feel the panic? There's too much going on. Okay, so why is there too much going on? What step can I take right now to create more balance in this place in my life where I feel that too much is going on? And the answer was structure. Perfect. Now create more structure, immediately put it in place. How can I structure my day? What can I eliminate that's just absolutely not needed? Because in today's society, we always have this idea, this concept of like, more is more success, more is more abundance, more is more feeling like I'm fulfilling a purpose, I'm doing something. I'm feeling worthy finally of just being here or being in a certain space. The thing is, you have to look at also the underlying core reason as to why you might be feeling that you're doing so much, why you may be feeling that you're so all over the place. Because number one, I've noticed that a lot of people absolutely hate silence. They can't sit still for 10 minutes. And the reason why is because when they are in that place of silence, when you are sitting still for just 10 minutes, emotions come up. Things finally starts to come up that you don't want to look at, that you're not dealing with, because you're so distracted by so many other things in your life. And that's the emotional body going, hey, you're quiet right now? Perfect. I have something to say. And then, woof, the emotions come up. But what do? We distract again. We step into coping mechanisms, secondary gains, doing things that we probably don't need to or shouldn't be doing. And we don't listen. We reject how the emotional body is feeling because it feels uncomfortable, because we are discomfort avoidant. That's what happens. Now, that's one aspect. Another aspect also that I've come to learn is that when there's so much going on, there's a feeling a sense of self-worth by having so much going on, because I have something to do. I have a sense of purpose. My time, my energy is important. I am important. What I'm doing is important. Absolutely, of course it is. But you can also do it in a constructive way that respects the amount of energy and psychological resources that you have available to love yourself enough to know and understand where your limitations and your capacity is. Because I talk a lot about having boundaries, but it doesn't just mean about having boundaries with your environment, other people. It means having boundaries with you. You also need to have boundaries with yourself. You also have to respect yourself enough to know and understand and recognize where your limitations are and not see it as a weakness. That's just a limitation. Look around you. There's limitations everywhere. When I say that, I mean thresholds. Even Mother Nature has her threshold limit where she can only handle so much with certain things, and then she collapses or she creates a movement to correct it. That's life. We are the same. You are no different. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. There's nothing wrong with being with that and honoring and respecting that. It's an absolute strength, Because if you can recognize that, if you can see that, if you can take action, you are actually freeing up your mind and your energetic body to invest it into more things that could be potentially a lot more constructive, or just taking a break, recharging your batteries. Now, there's so much power in actually doing less. And that's one thing that I've come to learn today. When I look at my schedule, for example, today, it's really busy. But I have the most amazing team that I ever could ask for. So I know I can say, team, this is what I need to do today. Here's where I need you to support me with X, Y, Z. And there's things that you can delegate. And I also have to sit here, despite the fact that I have a team, I had to actually sit there and I'm thinking, well, what would I actually do if I didn't have a team? Doesn't change. I would still look at my schedule and I will be asking myself, what is it that is absolutely a necessity right now? How much of me, how much am I bringing into this by saying, well, no, this is a necessity. This has to happen. Is that just my rigidity, my stubbornness? Or is it really truly something that I can be a little bit more flexible on? So it's really about looking and assessing at where it is that you're investing your time and your energy into, and is it really absolutely necessary? Is your life going to be any different, or is there going to be a problem, or is there going to be a catastrophe or a conundrum in a week or in a month or in a year from now if you didn't do this task or this thing that you perceive as being so important, but now you're questioning, is it really that important? Is it going to be problematic in that time? Is it really? How much value is that action or that task going to bring to your life right now, or improve your quality of life? That is how I start, or at least now, how I'm starting to weigh up what is important and what is not. It's really important, because when you look at a lot of people out there who are successful, a lot of people who are, doing so many things, but when you look at their schedules, when you look at how they're setting up their life, there's a lot of power in just doing less. But doing what it is that you do, even though it's less, doing it really well, doing it really great, doing it in a really powerful, structured way. So, guys, there you have it. There's so much happening here as well. That's what at least that's what's been happening for me. But also we'll be having a lot of live events coming up here in Ubud. So you can check out everything at evetterose.com. We have live events coming up too. Remember to hit the subscription bar, stay up to date with me. And until next time, everyone, be the light that you are. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm sure that you learned a lot. So guys, subscribe to my channel here and also hit the notifications bar, and so that you can get notified every time when I upload a new video. So guys, also remember to share the video and also look out for courses that I have below in the description bar. And until next time, be the light that you are.